Welcome to this video that shows work on refurbishing a Stuart S50 Steam engine. The refurbishment was completed in September 2025. The engine was bought as a birthday present for my dad to run on his steam plant. This video segment shows an initial air test of the steam engine. The engine ran very well, although there were a few things needing work. At this stage I could see that some painting, cleaning of components, and replacing some fixings would be required to refurbish the engine. This video shows the box bed and sole plate after painting. These are cast as a single casting for the Stuart S50. To simulate separate castings, blank bolts are used. The video shows these being tapped into position. The painting process usually creates overpaint on areas of the box bed and sole plate. This clip shows me scraping the crosshead guides with a 6-inch rule to remove any paint. Next is a time lapse of photos that show the engine going back together, starting with the cylinder being installed on the sole plate. The crankshaft, eccentric, and connecting rod were then installed. This is quite tricky as the S50 doesn't have split bearings. This means the eccentric sheave has to be slotted onto the crankshaft as it is being pushed through the bearing housings. The connecting rod is secured to the crank web with a threaded crank pin. This is quite easy to install. The upper crosshead guides were installed, taking care to ensure the crosshead could move freely between the upper and lower guides. Scraping the lower guides, per the earlier clip, is key in ensuring free movement of the crosshead. I had to remove the cylinder from the sole plate to get the front cylinder cover installed. The bolt at the bottom of the cover wasn't easily accessible. This didn't take long as the cylinder is held to the bed with 3 screws. Next, the eccentric rod, valve rod, and steam chest were installed. Before installing the steam chest cover, I checked to ensure the valve was equally exposing the ports at each end of its travel. This is a critical step in ensuring the timing of the engine is correct. I installed an exhaust port, inlet port, and a new displacement lubricator on the inlet. The engine didn't come with a displacement lubricator, so I used one from my stock of spare parts. I drilled and tapped the flywheel to take a new grub screw. This secures the flywheel to the crankshaft. The engine came with a slot-headed screw which doesn't really fit this style of model. Once the grub screw was installed, I secured the flywheel in position. This photo shows the engine secured to a wooden baseboard. I made the baseboard by veneering a piece of plywood with mahogany planks and finishing it with stain and wipe-on polyurethane varnish. Here's a side view of the engine showing the work completed so far. The engine is looking quite good at this stage, and has transformed quite a lot from the beginning of the video. I made a new piston from brass bar stock and grooved it to take a silicone O-ring. The piston and piston rod assembly was installed by pushing it through the valve gland and screwing it into the crosshead. I milled a slot in the end of the piston so that I could use a screwdriver to turn the piston. After installing the piston, I installed the outer cylinder cover to complete the rebuild. Here's a photo of the completed engine on the bench, ready for an air test. I oiled all moving parts with lubricating oil in preparation for the test. I also roughly timed the engine by setting the eccentric at 90 degrees to the crank web. Here's the engine running on air on the bench after adjusting the timing a few times. During the timing process, I changed the slot-headed grub screw in the eccentric for a hex grub screw. The slot-headed screw had broken, making it difficult to time the engine. The engine ran very well after adjusting the timing. After its initial air test, I piped the engine up to my Stuart Steam plant I'd built in May 2024 for a live steam test. I'll put a link to the steam plant build in the description below. The steam test went very well, no leaks from the engine, and it ran very smoothly. It was great seeing the engine run alongside the Stuart 10V and S50 on the steam plant. Overall, the steam engine came out quite well, and it was an enjoyable project to complete. I'm looking forward to my dad running it on his steam plant. Thank you for watching this video. Please like and subscribe to support my channel. Thank you.